Hello and welcome to another Versus episode. This time we will be taking a look at two comics featuring spies. Spy thrillers and mystery stories are a popular genre, from the classic James Bond movies to the global superstar Carmen Sandiego. These stories are a mix of mystery and action, using one to drive the other forward. In the comics we'll look at today, these espionage agents try to complete the most difficult mission of all, surviving family life. First, a few disclaimers, but if you'd like to jump right to the start, here is a timestamp. First up, a light spoiler warning. I will do my best not to give away any critical plot points, but I will discuss the premise and themes associated with these manga. Additionally, there will be discussion of minor violence, though nothing coming close to the horrors of the last Versus episode. Please read these series for yourself and contact your local publisher if they are currently unavailable. Thanks to all the curators, translators, and fan wikis for their diligent recording of facts. A full citation list will be in the description and at the end of the video. Lastly, I am not arguing that either of these series is better than the other. Rather, I am exploring comics through contrast. Now then, let's get started with Spy Family vs. Sakamoto Days. Part 1. The Overview. Let's begin by discussing the creation, plot, and premise of these two manga. First, let's take a look at the instant classic and well-loved Spy Family. Spy Family is a manga created by Tetsuya Endo. Endo is responsible for both the writing and the art of the series. Endo started as an assistant, working on manga such as Blue Exorcist, Fire Punch, and our old friend Attack on Titan. Endo has two other serialized works, titled Tista from 2007 and Blade of the Moon Princess from 2010. Endo has also created several one-shot comics. Spy Family was first released in 2019 and is an ongoing series. The comic mixes the action of a spy thriller with slice-of-life and comedy elements. Spy Family has seen widespread success and an anime adaptation, which began airing in 2022. The story of Spy Family unsurprisingly revolves around a family. Created out of necessity by super sleuth codenamed Twilight as cover for an ongoing operation, the need to blend in and keep up appearances required a fast family. The wife of the family, Yor, has her own reasons for the wedding and is unaware of Twilight's true identity or motivations. The two are locked in a dance of deception, both thinking that they are an imposter that is fooling the other. Both worry about being found out and try to balance their secret lives with being a good partner to their new spouse. The deception brings with it a guilt that both are eager to make up for, which can lead to some heartfelt and wholesome moments. The aptly named forgers, Lloyd and Yor, have to learn how to act like a couple and how to blend in with the social elites of their city. Family provides them with a convenient alibi and access to new areas and information. Their adopted child, Anya, rounds out their family unit, and she has perhaps the most exciting secret of all. Here's the official description from the back of Spy Family's first printed volume. Master Spy Twilight is unparalleled when it comes to going undercover on dangerous missions for the betterment of the world. But when he receives the ultimate assignment, to get married and have a kid, he may finally be in over his head. Not one to depend on others, Twilight has his work cut out for him, procuring both a wife and child for his mission to infiltrate an elite private school. What he doesn't know is that the wife he's chosen is an assassin and the child he's adopted is a telepath. Spy Family is a work that seems effortless. The different elements seamlessly fit together and make for an enjoyable and engaging read. The title is a great snapshot of what the series holds. Moments of tension and action are broken up by family gags or genuine bonding between the characters. The slight supernatural elements the story holds are introduced smoothly. All the storylines in Spy Family feel important, even the seemingly mundane. The main espionage story involving Twilight drives the major plot forward and introduces friends and foes from the world of spies. Unraveling Yor's backstory is just as gripping as she coordinates with the mysterious shopkeeper and the garden. Even Anya's race to earn school stars at the prestigious Eden Academy feels compelling. She strives to help her parents gather information by gaining friends, excelling in classes, and acquiring important social invitations. The mix of high and low stakes plot lines mirrors the mindset of Twilight, who considers even the smallest task to be of utmost importance to saving the nation. As the reader, you can resonate with Anya, as she usually has the most complete picture of events. Even if she doesn't understand every piece of the puzzle, you can follow alongside her as she gathers clues. Spy Family makes frequent use of structural irony, where the characters aren't always aware of their situation or how they are being perceived. Striving to be normal can end up with awkward results. An important aspect of the story is that the family isn't just a cover for Anya, it is real. The forgers lovingly adopted her from the orphanage and brought her home. Keeping her parents happily together is representative of her belonging and fitting in. Anya has just as strong a motivation as any of the other characters. Spy Family features many depictions of familial relationships as the group tries to learn how to act and maintain their cover. Yor's brother provides another family link and additional comic relief. The other families at the academy show diverse family archetypes, including tropes like doting mother or distant father. Anya's favorite TV show is the spy thriller cartoon Spy Wars. The show is self-referential, and the series can poke fun at itself, push forward themes, and use jokes to wrap up chapters. Spy Family openly enjoys playing with common spy fiction tropes. The family's remarkable rescue dog Bond is a clear homage to the famous films. The idea of super spies living a mundane life as a cover story is reminiscent of the 2005 movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. The movie features spies in the suburbs and a couple who aren't being honest with each other. The film was recently rebooted as a TV series starring Donald Glover and created by Francesca Sloan. Spy Family flows between fast-paced action and quiet family life. Both stir the other forward and keep things interesting. Spy Family is an easy read and an exciting one. Now let's change gears and take a look at the design and details of Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days is a manga created by Yuto Suzuki. It began publication in 2020 and is Suzuki's first serialized work. Prior to Sakamoto Days, Suzuki created two one-shot comics, Garaku and Locker Room, both from 2019. Locker Room received a live-action TV adaptation and was featured on the 2020 Tales of the Bizarre Autumn Special in a segment titled Coin Laundry. Suzuki's next one-shot, titled Sakamoto, is a precursor to the serialized comic. Sakamoto Days centers around Taro Sakamoto, a retired assassin who now runs a convenience store and lives happily with his family. Sakamoto must balance the ripples of his old life with the reality of his new wife and child. Sakamoto's life is disrupted with the reintroduction of his former colleague, Shin, who pulls Sakamoto back into the life of bounties and the order. Old friends and new enemies threaten Sakamoto's life of peace. Shin takes on the role of apprentice in both aspects of life, a shop assistant and a hitman protege, learning how to survive as an assassin, but also how to be a good husband, father, and person. Things are further muddied by the introduction of Lu Xiaotang, the daughter of a triad family. This adds another faction into the mix and another clerk to the store. Lu, being a master of the drunken fist fighting style, heightens the team's hijinks. Sakamoto promised his wife that his days of killing were behind him. He turns to non-lethal force in order to assimilate properly into civilian life and set a good example for his daughter. Unfortunately, this makes dealing with threats and protecting his family more difficult. Sakamoto Days bounces between action combat and slice-of-life hijinks. The store is a warm home base for Sakamoto, his family, and friends. Now let's take a look at the official description. Taro Sakamoto was once a legendary hitman, considered to be the greatest of all time. Bad guys feared him, assassins revered him, but then one day he quit, got married, and had a baby. He's now living the quiet life as the owner of a neighborhood store. But how long can Sakamoto enjoy his days of retirement before his past catches up to him? Time has passed peacefully for Sakamoto since he left the underworld. He's running a neighborhood store with his lovely wife and child, and has gotten a bit out of shape. But one day a figure from his past pays him a visit with an offer he can't refuse: return to the assassin world, or die. Sakamoto's retirement is an anomaly. There is usually only one way to leave a group of criminal assassins: 6 feet under. His legendary skill makes him a unique case, and his store persists peacefully despite many disturbances. Having worked in the service industry and retail myself, I especially enjoy that aspect of Sakamoto's cover. He fantasizes about quickly dealing with unruly customers in a way that most retail workers would appreciate. Taro is a root vegetable, but can also be translated to mean strong and heroic, or abundance. Sakamoto is a common surname that roughly translates to one who lives at the bottom of a slope. Combined together, the name seems to reflect the idea of a hero who has grown comfortable in a life of relaxation. Suzuki mentions in a 2023 interview for Shonen Jump GIGA that they like characters who possess strong gaps, so I combined several elements from two extreme opposites, such as the strongest old man or the strongest fat guy. Back then, I just wanted to publish a one-shot comic, so I emphasized on making an impact. Sakamoto reminds me a little of the self-proclaimed fat ninja from the manhwa Blade of Heaven by Yang Su Huang, released in 2005. Both characters use stealth, cunning, and well-practiced techniques to their advantage. Sakamoto's portly stature is never the butt of the joke, and his ability and effectiveness as a hitman and husband speaks for itself. The notion of a retired hitman makes for entertaining moments, as their old skills continue to be surprisingly handy. There is a similar feel to Way of the House Husband, a manga by Kosuke Ono, first released in 2018. However, Sakamoto Days is a little faster paced and slanted more towards action, where Way of the House Husband might truly be a slice of life or comedy comic. Sakamoto Days is still comfortably a shonen manga at heart. Now that we've discussed these manga, let's see if we can crack the code as to why they were so successful. This is a final spoiler warning, as I will now begin to discuss the finer details of these two comics. Part 2. The Similarities. Both series are considered shonen, and are commonly listed under tags like action, comedy, and family life. Both comics are full of intricate family dynamics and wholesome slice-of-life stories. Plotlines include first day at a new school, going shopping, or joining a sports team. These mundane events contrast the spy and shonen elements like shootouts, stealth missions, and hijackings. For the protagonists, protecting their family is of the utmost importance. The comics explore themes of escaping a life of danger and a newfound difficulty fitting into civilian society. This fish-out-of-water element can easily lend to humorous plotlines based around misunderstanding and confusion. Both manga have the same family structure, with a wife, husband, and young daughter. Anya and Hana are both approximately 6 years old and are elementary school students. As they grow and gain experiences, they learn more about the world around them. Both manga feature characters wearing different masks, both literally and figuratively. Deception plays a big role, and the characters reveal different sides of themselves depending on the situation. The shifting masks reflects the philosophy expressed by Carl Jung in his 1966 two essays on analytical psychology. The persona is a complicated system of relations between individual consciousness and society, designed on the one hand to make a definite impression upon others, and, on the other, to conceal the true nature of the individual. Assassin, shopkeep, parent, doctor, spy. The characters are chameleons, and their personality and actions change depending on their needs. As trained spies and assassins, they are much more variable than the average person. If deception is a theme, then so too is truth and honesty, the pursuit of earnest reflection and self-expression. The idea of a true self, and escaping or accepting what comes with it, is a running theme. The characters are often physically disguised. Lloyd commonly masquerades as other characters, ripping off masks like something out of a Mission Impossible movie. It is useful for spies to pretend to be military police or other figures of authority in order to slip past undetected and gain access to exclusive areas. Another similarity is the existence of organized networks of criminals. Beyond simple gangs, these elite enterprises are powerful and widespread. These groups affect markets and trade, as well as issues of national intrigue. Sakamoto could be one of Yor's colleagues. It's not hard to believe that the two could have worked a job together and would have made quite the team. Sakamoto's old employers, the Order, echoes the group Yor is affiliated with, the Garden, As Yor feels the increasing pull of family life and civilian comfort, she may one day find herself in Sakamoto's shoes. Both stories highlight skills that successful spies must master: martial arts and sharpshooting, stealth and sleight of hand, planning and perception. Twilight and Sakamoto are masters of each of these areas. Just like in the classic 1980s TV show Macgyver, the spies use mundane objects to dazzling results. They are cunning and creative, like when Sakamoto uses a cough drop to block a bullet early in the series. The comics show how these skills from a life of spy training might translate to civilian life. Heightened dexterity and endurance, or hawk-eyed perception, make for a wealth of advantages in everyday life. Characters being overqualified or not knowing their own strengths often lead to humorous happenstances that make the series shine. Both comics lightly dip into the supernatural, which adds drama and keeps things exciting. Comics as a medium lend themselves particularly well to depictions of otherworldly abilities. The fantastical elements don't hinder the pacing and help the world feel vibrant. Sakamoto, Twilight, and Yor display superhuman speed and strength, and so do many of their contemporaries. Sakamoto even changes size and strength when he begins to fight in earnest, showing his true form. His usual chubby appearance shows how comfortable he has gotten, and provides a little bit of a disguise. When things get serious, Sakamoto burns the excess calories and reverts to the look of his old self, the once greatest hitman in the world. Physical appearance being linked to power levels and elaborate transformation sequences are commonplace in shonen comics. The stories also feature espers, or mind readers. Shin and Anya use clairvoyance to aid communication and can easily understand the intent and motivations of those around them. This is convenient for navigating the curious webs of family and relationships. Sakamoto is a man of few words, and doesn't speak for the majority of the first manga volume. Shin helps act as an interpreter for the audience, as the two bounce off each other. In the 2023 interview for Shonen Jump GIGA, Suzuki mentions that there is a scene where they kill each other in their imaginations. I wanted to depict that, so I made Shin an esper. He surprisingly ended up a good team with the quiet Sakamoto. Perhaps clairvoyance, and being able to read people and situations, represents another skill that is valuable for spies and assassins. Though Sakamoto and Mr. and Mrs. Forger are not mind readers, in certain situations they might as well be. They are trained to pick up subtle social cues and quickly analyze information. The mind reading provides a convenient excuse to see what characters are thinking and illustrate how potential situations could unfold. Sakamoto's minimal dialogue reminds me of the classic comic strip Spy vs. Spy, published by Mad Magazine in the early 60s. Spy vs. Spy features feuding spies who don't speak, who find creative ways to cause damage to each other and themselves. Spy vs. Spy is a work that may be responsible for influencing both the title of Spy Family as well as my own Versus series. This binary highlights another similarity. Long-standing rivalries are a staple of spy media. A battle of minds staying one step in front of the other, always innovating ways to attack. This is also featured in the warring factions of Spy Family and the gangs of Sakamoto days, feuding for control and expansion of their territory. Beyond mind reading, both stories explore communication and linguistics as themes. Coded language is featured, both in terms of spies using ciphers to send secret messages, as well as the code-switching speech of everyday life. The forgers must remember who they are talking to and when to use the specific vocabulary and cadence of the elite. Assassins may be harsh and blunt on the job, but must be warm and accepting with their families. Language use is a good way to blow one's cover, especially as the many lies of a double life begin to compound. Another similarity the comics share is comedy. Both series don't take themselves too seriously, and there are a lot of gags. Comedic relief helps balance the ongoing tension and heavy events that can come with spy fiction, like murder and crime. A few jokes and family scenes set an easy tone that can be quickly disrupted by a new mark or mission. A mix of spies and comedy reminds me of the Austin Powers movies and the many performances of Mike Myers. These parodies of the James Bond spy thrillers were box office hits, poking fun at the genre and its tropes. The Austin Powers movies have been blamed for the James Bond series straying away from comedy or anything silly. Post-Powers Bond movies have been especially gritty, trying to distance themselves and avoid being the butt of the joke. The return to lighthearted spy dramas might be another reason Spy Family is so popular, as it fills the new void opened up by the overly serious Bond films. Other similar Western examples might include Spy Kids or Inspector Gadget, both series revolving around spy fiction and family life. Another similarity is the way the comics were created. Both of the creators are author and illustrator, an impressive feat. This is not totally uncommon among mangaka, as it allows for complete creative freedom. Both authors used a one-shot to transition into their breakout series. I Spy was released in Jump Square in March 2018, where Endo explored working with spy fiction. Similarly, Sakamoto was released for Jump GIGA in December 2019 and is considered a prototype of Sakamoto Days. These proof-of-concept stories allowed the mangaka to try out their ideas and refine them before releasing them as serialized comics. In an interview for Shonen Jump's Million Tag, Endo mentions that he never thought I Spy would be a serialized work. I was thinking of I Spy as a one-shot, so I didn't think of making it into a serial. However, since I like the military and don't dislike spy stories, we decided to come up with a different project based on spies. Because of the positive fan reception and the open encouragement of Endo's editor, Spy Family was born. One-shots are an effective proving ground for new characters, settings, and art styles. Endo combined elements from another one-shot, Rengoku no Ashe, or Ash of Purgatory, carrying over some character elements and designs when creating Anya. In the interview about Sakamoto Days for Jump GIGA in 2023, Suzuki discusses the differences between writing a one-shot and a series. When I was drawing one-shots, I drew as I pleased, but now I often think about how I can entertain the readers and how I can keep them interested. Suzuki mentions that serializations can require a different approach in terms of tone and structure. With one-shots, it's easier to make a darker and more incisive story, but if prolonged, I thought drawing it might become harder, so I tried to make the most stress-free manga I could draw or read, and this is the atmosphere I came up with. Suzuki goes on to explain what makes a good one-shot comic. I think the grip and the flip are key in a one-shot. These factors are meant to reduce the stress of reading. To grip and flip reminds me of the structure of many Golden Age science fiction stories. They get you hooked and end with a twist, leaving you wanting more. Reducing the stress of reading does explain why some manga are so easy to peruse. The mangaka spent extra time and special care to prepare the work for the reader to enjoy. This stress-free reading is apparent in both comics, and may be why Spy Family and Sakamoto Days are such an enjoyable read. Both series were published by Shueisha and in English by Viz Media, and were printed in Weekly Shonen Jump or Shonen Jump Plus. Spy Family was printed in Shonen Jump in September 2019, with an anime adaptation first airing in 2022. Spy Family also recently had an animated film release, Spy Family Code White, released in December 2023. Sakamoto Days started with Shonen Jump in November 2020. A light novel, Sakamoto Days Koroshia no Method, was published in April 2023. As of the recording of this video, Sakamoto Days has 15 published volumes to Spy Family's 12. Both series are ongoing. Part 3. The differences. One difference is that of setting and time period. Sakamoto Days is set in what looks like the 21st century. The store has digital scanners, and there are modern vehicles, weapons, and clothing styles. On the other hand, a passing newspaper places Spy Family in 1962, and the dated technology and outfits reflect that. The series evokes a Cold War feel, with architecture and wardrobe choices of that era. The East and West nations are divided by a hard border, and tensions are on the rise. This setting helps emphasize the importance of espionage on a national level. When interviewed by a German magazine, Anime Nachrichten, or Anime News in 2020, Endo was asked about the Cold War setting and its resemblance to East and West Germany. Endo says that, when it comes to espionage, you think of the Cold War era. However, with real existing countries, the story would have been limited. Therefore, the manga is based on this, but only uses it as a model, and the actual setting is fictional. I believe that the story and setting of the manga can be made more interesting this way. Later, Endo mentions the Cold War again when thanking his German fans. Although this work is set during the Cold War, it is more about a spy who fights for peace and his family, who leads a strong and happy life during this time. I hope that German readers will have a lot of fun with the manga. The Cold War is perhaps an especially effective time period for a spy thriller. Beyond the historical references to draw on, the Cold War persists in our modern age, and the looming threat is an ever-present reminder of the need for peace. The exaggerated dealings between nations contrast the ever-entertaining antics happening at the family level. The stories also differ in terms of family structure. There is the real family in Sakamoto days, born of true love, a happy couple who are just trying to settle down. Then there is the fake spy family, where everyone has something to hide. The unraveling of secrets and the careful control of information sets Spy Family apart. There are many layers of deception in Spy Family, with Yor and Twilight deceiving each other as well as the outside world. One might be thinking, a glaring difference is that Sakamoto Days is not really about spies at all. Throughout this essay, I have been using the word spy and assassin somewhat interchangeably, and broadly comparing Sakamoto and Lloyd and Yor. But perhaps it is Yor and Sakamoto who have the most in common. They are both assassins who have successfully completed many jobs for a criminal organization. While Sakamoto isn't strictly a spy, there is a lot of carryover in the skills, training, and objectives. Perhaps there is a difference of motivation and of scale. Spies focus more on the national level, with interactions between global powers involving the elite ruling class and the precious power of secrets. While assassins might be hired by nations during these wartime clashes, they are often focused on the personal level. They track the movements and patterns of their mark and find the best way to approach them and complete their mission. The wider consequences and subsequent chain of events are not necessarily relevant in the same way to Yor as they are to Twilight. Another difference is that of the cover jobs of the protagonists. Twilight works at a hospital as a psychiatrist, whereas Sakamoto owns and operates a convenience store. While both excel at their day jobs, the store is more closely connected to Sakamoto's family and is therefore more valuable. Sakamoto's entourage all have a job waiting for them at the Sakamoto Inten, Sakamoto's mom and pop shop. The store is a safe haven, the fabled retirement, a chance at living happily ever after. The apron and name tag become badges of civility and tutelage under Taro. The Sakamoto family rules, like no killing, are extended to the protégés, further reinforcing their status and belonging. The existence of the protégés in Sakamoto Days is itself another difference. Shin and Lu are novices who learn from Sakamoto not just how to be an assassin, but a better version of themselves. Spy Family does have Anya, who might become the greatest spy or assassin of all. However, she is not a protégé in the same way as those who wear the Sakamoto aprons. Her parents try their best to keep her isolated from violence and the dangers of the world. Another difference is the existence of an anime adaptation. Spy Family had particularly strong reception and became a quick success. It started to win awards the same year it was released. This could be in part due to the marketable character designs, as well as the cheerful and warm family atmosphere. Spy Family is appealing to a wide audience of young and old readers and enjoyers of both slice of life and action comics. Just like in the Last Verses episode, the existence of an anime tips the scales. The characters are brought to life with voice acting, sound effects, and music. With opening and ending themes from powerful bands, the series is skyrocketed to a new audience. Try listening to Mixed Nuts by official Hige Dandism or Comedy by Gen Hoshino. Both songs were nominated for awards in 2023. The blending of arts and the collaboration of artists is a rising tide for all involved. Spy Family has continued to receive a wealth of awards, including winning the Tatsuya Manga Award in 2020. In 2022, Spy Family won the Best Manga at the French Biblio Readers Awards, and in 2023, Spy Family was Animation of the Year at the Tokyo Anime Awards. Spy Family has a special charm that made it a favorite for many, but I think Sakamoto Days is a strong series that could still see future success. and I think it would work well as an animation. Sakamoto Days has an edge that reminds me of the Lupin III movies from the late 70s and 80s. I picture a mix of energetic jazz following Sakamoto as he fights, and more lethargic and cheerful tunes accompanying the slower family scenes. It might be fun to lean into Sakamoto having minimal dialogue, with his wife having an unspoken understanding, and Shin being the interpreter. This dynamic works well in the comic and may be even more effective with the addition of voice actors. There are glimpses of what a Sakamoto Days anime would look like in the short promotional videos made for special events, such as the release of new volumes. Spy Family and Sakamoto Days are both wholesome and fun stories that are well worth a read. They explore action and espionage, as well as the depths of family dynamics. If you like one, you'll probably like the other. Thanks for listening to another episode of my Versus series. I have a few more ideas, but if you have suggestions for comics to compare, please let me know by leaving a comment. If you liked the video, be sure to check out the rest of my channel and subscribe for more. Take care and happy reading.